We'll start with an easy one tonight. Tell us about who you are and why you're running for Scottsbluff City Council.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity for us to come together and share a little bit about ourselves and why we want to run for City Council. My name is Betsy Vidlak. I was born and raised in Scottsbluff as well. I graduated from Scottsbluff High School, attended WNCC, and just this past May I graduated with my master's in business administration. I have 4 children, a couple that live out on their own already and 2 at home with me still. So I think that I have experience because I've worked on various boards in the community and civic groups, and I'm really excited to run for City Council because I really believe in having an equitable, safe, and thriving community in Scottsbluff. Those are important to me, and I believe that everyone should have access to that in all of our neighborhoods. I believe that it's important that people feel safe and that my children feel safe and they can play in their yard. That's important to me. And I also think that we need to always be looking to innovate and be creative in our community, and we need to be thriving so that young people want to come back here and our elderly want to stay here. So again, I'm interested in learning more about the City Council, and I'm excited to be here tonight. So thank you.
Betsy, what do you feel the biggest issue facing the city is, and how would you work to improve it?
I think one of the biggest issues right now is having that city manager and getting a city manager in place, right? So that's obviously a very crucial position with the city, and it leads the employees and is that liaison to the council. So I think that's very important, and I think that's something that they're working on and maybe in place by the time the council changes over. But I think that person, the right candidate for that, is someone who really has some high integrity and is really somebody who can listen and has good communication skills and works really well with those city employees. And then additionally, I think, like Jeannie said, workforce issues and housing. That's a huge issue. We know that a lot of us are struggling to fill positions in our organizations, and so we need to always be creative in looking at how we can improve that. The career academies at the high school, great opportunity to do that, and I think that's giving young people an opportunity to look at things besides just college, but trades and arts and things like that. So as Judy said as well, the housing issue, when you're bringing in workforce, we are struggling to find places for them to live, and that's at all income levels. So affordable housing, safe housing, and workforce housing. So those are both issues. I think we have to be creative in how we solve that, and definitely work in partnership. So.
Okay, let's move on to our next question. We'll begin with you, Betsy. Everybody up here spoke about the city manager, so let's talk about the city manager a bit more. As the city looks for a new city manager, what leadership qualities do you think are imperative to set Scottsbluff up for success, not only tomorrow, but for years to come?
So I do think the city manager is a very crucial position, like I said before, as they are the leader of the city. I think that the right person will have high integrity, good communication skills, good listening skills, transparency as they are the representative. It should be someone that sees those employees as valuable team players and values their input. We have some very long-term great employees within the city, and it needs to be someone who can really focus on operating the city efficiently and effectively. So it would be my hope that we could find somebody internally or even locally who would be interested in stepping up to that. At the same time, if that's no one is interested in that, I think it is something that we will need to search for, and the right candidate who really meets the needs of our community. So.
Betsy, how does the city solve the issue of aging and failing water and wastewater infrastructure?
I agree with Jeannie. I think that if we don't invest in these areas and we don't allocate funds and budget for that, then it's going to fall off that priority list. And as many others said, I think that really researching this and utilizing the expertise within our city would be the most important piece here.
Betsy, is the Aquatic Center something that can be successful in our area, and how?
So this is definitely a topic I'm interested in learning more about. I do think it can be successful. I think having those safe places for children and families and our elderly to go and be active and enjoy themselves are so important. I think pools are just something that it's great to have in the community. I have memories of going to the pool as a young person, and I think it is important that we do create that in partnership, as many folks have mentioned, and the schools as well. So the schools need that place for young people to be able to practice and have their swim team. Many of the pools in our community are aging, and so we do need to look at that. I think in looking at that, we also have to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible, as Jeannie mentioned as well. So I know the city's looking at proposed sites, and we just need to make sure that we're being very clear in how that's going to look. So I am supportive of it, as long as we are really doing our due diligence with the financial piece and the partnerships.
Betsy, over the past 12 months, how many city council meetings have you attended, and what were your thoughts on how those meetings went?
I've been attending the last few months, so not a ton of meetings. I think they have went well. It has been very interesting. I have learned a lot. I really enjoy hearing from the staff and learning about what they're presenting to the council. I think the council has done a fine job, and I think you do the best with what you have, and they've definitely been given some tough things this year. So I think they're doing a fine job.
Betsy, if someone was preparing to move into Scottsbluff and knew nothing about the city, how would you describe it?
I would describe Scottsbluff as a small community that's very close-knit and works well together, partners well together. I think that there's a great opportunity for a good quality of life here. There's lots of opportunities. I think we're very supportive of businesses and people wanting to start new things and be creative and innovative. I know in being at the meeting last night, there was a lot of talk about the Cinco de Mayo celebration that they're planning downtown in May, and I just think there's a lot of activities and things that we do here that are fun and creative, and I think it would be an exciting place to also come and raise your children and your family. So,
Betsy, what are your thoughts on the city creative district that's currently in the development phase?
I think this is a very cool opportunity for the community. I actually also serve on the West Nebraska Arts Center board, and so I've learned a little bit about this project from the staff there. They're very involved in it. And looking at the map as well, I just love how it encompasses a big portion of the city and crosses just different neighborhoods and communities. So I think it's a great opportunity, and from my understanding, it also brings the potential for funding for some of those businesses and areas to just do more creative things. So I think it's great.
All right. At this time, we've reached time for closing arguments, or closing thoughts, I guess, arguments, whatever you want to call them. A closing statement, how about that, to give those that are watching tonight and the voters a last word on you. And Betsy, you were up next, so we will start with you.
Okay. So in closing, I would love to have your vote to serve on the City Council. I'm committed to having an equitable, safe, and thriving community. Being from Scottsbluff, I've appreciated our small town feel, and that helps us look after each other and our friends and our families. Growing up here, I've had many great opportunities for a successful life and career, and I think it's important that everyone should be able to have that. We should continue to innovate and be creative for retaining our young people and for the elderly in our community as well. Western Nebraska and Scottsbluff is an amazing little city, and I think that it's not just a spot on the map, for tourism, but for so many of us, it's our home. And when people come home to visit, they should be happy to be here and then sad to leave. So in closing, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, and I look forward to your vote in May.